Order, please. Order, please. The chamber is ready for business. Order, please. Order, please. Order, please.
Distinguished colleagues, please examine the votes and proceedings of Wednesday, 20th November 2024, and confirm the entries as the true reflection of what transpired yesterday. Page 515, page 516, page 517. Page 518. Page 519. Page 520, 520. Page 521. Page 522. Page 523. Page 524. Distinguished Kaka Shewulawan, SAN, can you please move for the adoption of the rules and proceedings of yesterday?
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, my name is Kakashe Ulawan. I represent the good people of Borno Central Senatorial District. Mr. President, I rise to move that the votes and proceedings of Wednesday, 20th of November 2024 be approved. I so move, sir.
Senator Natasha Akpoti-Oduanga, can you please second the motion?
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I move to second the adoption of the votes and proceedings of Wednesday, the 2nd of November, 2024. I so move.
Those in favor of the motion moved by Senator Kaka, SAN, and seconded by Senator Natasha that the rules and proceedings of yesterday be adopted, please say aye. Those against the motion, please say nay. The ayes have it. The rules and proceedings of yesterday is hereby adopted. Announcement. I wish, on behalf of the Senate, to acknowledge the presence of staff and students of Footsteps International School, Warimpa, Abuja, who are here to observe the proceeding of this August Senate today. You are welcome. I wish you good luck and you travel back to your school safely after you have finished the observation of our proceedings. You may wish to sit down. Number two, another announcement. Members, I'd like to, on behalf of the Senate, acknowledge the presence of members of National Association of Local Students, Northeast Region, University of Maiduguri, who are here to observe our proceedings. You are most welcome. Happy to receive you and wish you happy stay in Abuja. And when you intend to go back, we wish you a safe trip back to Maiduguri. You may wish to sit down. Senate Leader.
Your Excellency, the Senate President, the first business of the day is presentation of bill standing in the name of Senator Ya'u Shadi Ali Haj of Federal University, Uzab, Zamfara State, Establishment Bill 2024, SB 501. Mr. President, I wish to invite the Clerk of Senate to read the short title.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Federal University, Gusau, Zamfara State Establishment Bill 2024, SB 501, first reading.
Federal University, Gusau, Zamfara State, Establishment Bill 2024, SB 501, first reading. Thank you. Senate Leader.
Mr. President, the second business of the day is the presentation of the bill standing in the name of Senator Joel Onawapo Thomas, Federal Polytechnics Act Amendment Bill 2024, SB 540. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Federal Polytechnics Act Amendment Bill 2024, SB 540, first reading.
Federal Polytechnics Act Amendment Bill 2024, SB 540, first reading. Second. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, the third business of the day is presentation of the bill standing in the name of Senator on Nigerian visual assets and cryptocurrency regulation bill 2024 SB 628. Mr. President, we wish to invite the Clerk of Senate to read the short title.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Nigeria Visual Assets and Cryptocurrency Regulation Bill 2024, SB 628, first reading.
Nigeria Visual Assets and Cryptocurrency Regulation Bill 2024, SB 6399, first reading. Taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, the fourth business of the day is presentation of bill standing in the name of Senator Blank Sasso on Federal Technical and Vocational Colleges Bill 2024 SB 639. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Federal Technical and Vocational Colleges Bill 2024, SB 639, first reading.
Federal Technical and Vocational Colleges Bill 2024, first reading. Taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, the business of the day is presentation of the bill standing in the name of Senator Aliyu Wadada Ahmed on the Federal University of Mining, Engineering and Technology, Nasarawa State, Establishment Bill 2024 SB 647. Mr. President, we wish to invite the Clerk of Senate to read the short title.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Federal University of Mining, Engineering and Technology, Nasarawa State Establishment Bill 2024, SB 647, first reading.
Federal University of Mining, Engineering and Technology, Nasarawa State, Establishment Bill 2024, SB 647, first reading. Taken. The Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, the sixth business of the day is presentation of the bill standing in the name of Senator Ngogo Ned Murio on Nigerian Data Protection Act Amendment Bill 2024 SB 654. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of Senate to read the short title of the bill.
The Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Nigeria Data Protection Act Amendment Bill 2024, SB 650, first reading.
Nigeria Data Protection Act Amendment Bill 2024, SB 650, first reading. Taken. The Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, the first order of the day, second reading of Federal University of Agriculture, Kappa, Establishment Bill 2024 SB 603. Distinguished senators will recall that the bill was read for the first time in this chamber on Thursday, 10th October 2024. Mr. President, we wish to invite Senator Karimi Sunday Steve to move the motion for the bill to be read the second time.
Senator Karimi Sandi, the floor is yielded to you to move your motion in respect of your bill.
Thank you, Mr. President. My dear distinguished colleagues, my name is Karimi Sunday Steve. I represent the people of Kogi West. I hereby move that the bill for an act to establish Federal University of Agriculture, Kaba, Kogi State, and make comprehensive provisions for new management and administration and for
Your face is not kind of him, right? The way your sister, no say all of that.
No, she just called now.
Mr. President, my colleague, permit me to lead the debate of this very important bill for the establishment of Federal University of Agriculture, Kaba. The bill was read for the first time in this chamber on Thursday, 10th October 2024.
Senator Karimi, say the mic to your mouth. It's not the hand.
My colleagues, this bill is a bold step towards not only addressing the educational needs of the people of Kogi West Senatorial District,
Is it correct?
but it will also serve as a training ground for the development of agriculture in the country. Agriculture, with its allied sector, is unquestionably the largest livelihood provider, more also in the rural areas, and can contribute significantly to the gross domestic product of the nation. Demand for agricultural product is rising rapidly with increase in population and per capita income and growing demand from industrial sector. The Ahmadu Bello College of Agriculture, Kaba, when upgraded to a university status, will provide the holistic development of agricultural education, knowledge, skills, and telescopic vision on future that will help them contribute to accelerated agricultural growth rate, enhance farmers' income, and generate employment in the sector. The institution, which has been a diploma awarding institution, will now have a 4-year BSc agricultural program. This will give the student a platform to enable the country to achieve self-sufficiency in food, reduce poverty, and bring economic transformation to millions of rural families. The objective for which this university is established, among others, are as follows. A, to encourage the advancement of learning and to hold out to all persons without distinction of race, creed, sex, or political conviction. B, to develop and offer academic and professional programs leading to the award of certificate, first degree, postgraduate research, diploma, and higher degree with emphasis on planning, developmental and adaptive skills in education, technology, applied science, agriculture, commerce, arts, social science, humanities, management, and allied professionals disciplines. C, to produce socially mature agriculturists with capabilities not only to understand agricultural needs of Nigeria as a nation, but also to exploit existing agro infrastructure and improve on its need to develop new ones, and to act as agents and catalysts for effective agricultural system through postgraduate training, research, and innovation for effective economic utilization and conservation of the country's human resources.
Mr. President, my colleagues, the establishment of this university will subsume the Ahmadu Bello College of Agriculture, Kaba, which was first established by the Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Ahmadu Bello, the then Premier of Northern Nigeria, who was a detribalized and selfless Nigerian, and in the spirit of unity, promoted the idea of establishment of College of Agriculture very far away from Zaria. One noticeable feature in the development of university in Nigeria is the emergence of specialized universities. Most of these focus on science and technology, while only three, that of Makurdi, Abeokuta, and Umudike, focus on agriculture. Hence, the need to upgrade the Ahmadu Bello College of Agriculture, Kaba, to a university to increase the tally to 4. And as a matter of fact, this will help the back-to-land policy of the federal government to ensure the diversification of our national economy. Agriculture is key, and the driver of this, to me, are products from these universities. I therefore advocate for the establishment of more universities of agriculture across the country. Mr. President, my highly respected colleague, the Ahmadu Bello College of Agriculture, Kaba, is a well-established institution with the state-of-the-art infrastructure, even better than what is obtainable in several universities in the country. The college, when upgraded, will have the needed infrastructure required for the takeoff of the new university. The present infrastructure in the university is enough, and no much fund will be required for an upgrade. I therefore urge you all to support this bill to keep alive the dream of one of our country's founding father and an exemplary and visionary leader, Alhaji Ahmadu Bello, Southerner himself. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Senator Karimi. My distinguished colleagues, this bill has been around for quite a while. Senator Karimi has been talking about this bill, so it's known to us. We don't need to put much time debating on it. I'll just call one person who is a neighbor to Senator Karimi. Hopefully, is not far from Kogi State. So, and Professor of Agriculture, please pass all your facts to Senator Adams Oshimole. No, I'm not recognizing you. Adams Oshimole will speak on your behalf, all of you there. Yes.
Mr. President, I'm very honored. My name is Adams Ali Oshomole. I represent the great people of Edo North. We have a common boundary with Kaba people, and he's also my in-law. The only thing I want to add, sir, I support wholeheartedly that we need specialized institutions, but drawing from experience now, we need to put clauses in the establishment of those universities to ensure that they do not lose focus on. I didn't say that. I will tell him later. Sir, I'm sorry for the. You distracted me. Just to say, sir, that some of the existing ones that he mentioned, over time, some of them are teaching mass communication, public admin, and completely lose focus on the primary purpose. So I think drawing from those experiences, anytime we are now setting up a specialized university of technology of agriculture, there should be a clause that will prevent the authorities from using courses that are totally irrelevant just because they want to use it to mop up revenue. I support this. I think this country must begin to focus its institutions of learning in those areas that the economy needs specialized skills and the world needs those specialized skills. We have fertile land, but we need, as we move away from peasant farming to mechanized farming, we do need people who are trained as agricultural economists and all the other courses related to agriculture. So I fully support this bill and think it merits with profound respect, second reading. Thank you, sir.
Thank you
And I
very much.
speak
As
for
I
all
said,
my
this
brothers
bill
here.
has been around for quite a while, and there isn't need for us to accept it as anybody who's against the bill. Okay, well, I have somebody, Senator Ablaya, who is an agricultural economist, wants to give some, some observation.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, just for information, this bill was in the 8th Senate, it was in the 9th Senate, and Smart Ademi brought it, and I think it was passed here. It went to, there was even public sitting on it. It passed third reading. It's just that it was not signed by the president before he left. So I don't think there is really any need for us to continue debating this matter. Already, to seek the support of the Senate in order for this bill to sail through. I so submit, Mr. President.
Thank you, the leader of the Senate Emeritus, for guiding the Senate. In fact, you are, you know much about what we have been doing here. We've been around for a while, so thank you for guiding us properly. So, as said by the former leader of the Senate, there's no need we continue to debate on this because this bill has been around for a while. Except if anyone has, has an objection to the passage of the bill, and which I know nobody will object to that. I'm sure that nobody will do that. In that regard, let me put the question. Those in favor that the bill be read the second time, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Let me comment before. Okay, well, the clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill and make comprehensive provisions for its due management and administration and for related matters 2024. Second reading.
A bill for an act to establish Federal University of Agriculture, Kaba, Kogi State, and make comprehensive provisions for its due management and administration and for related matters 2024. Second reading taken. Let me on this note commend Senator Karimi for bringing forward this bill. It shows that he has a passion to bring about agricultural development in this area. Because we all know that agriculture is a mainstay of our economy, and we need to really work to make sure that we're able to feed ourselves, to have the necessary food security. And to get that done, you need the personnel, we need the manpower to drive that zeal of our country. And this university is an instrument that will provide those that will work in the agriculture sector to bring modern techniques in agriculture to bear in agricultural practice. The world is changing, the world is dynamic. Peasant farming is not what is in vogue. What is in vogue is mechanized farming. And this university, if established, will provide us manpower to bring in techniques, modern techniques, that will help us to mechanize our agricultural practice. So on this note, that I want to commend those who contributed and urge Senator Karemi to continue to do his best for the upliftment of the lives of his people. More grace to your elbows. Clerk of the Senate. Leader of the Senate. Okay. The bill is therefore referred to the Committee on Tertiary Institution and Telephone and to report back within 4 weeks. The clerk, the leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, first and foremost, we want to seek your indulgence to temporarily put a hold on the second order of the day. Inadvertently, the promoter is now around, and we want to go into third order of the day. I so move, Mr. President.
Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Very distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion as moved by the Senate leader. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion as moved by the Senate leader and seconded by the leader, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The leader of Senate, you can move on.
Mr. President, the third order of the day is presentation and consideration of reports of Committee on Local and Foreign Debts on the new external borrowing of 1767,610,321,779 naira, USD 2.209 billion in the 2024 Appropriation Act. Mr. President, you may wish to invite Senator Wamako Aliu, the chairman of committee, to move the motion for the Senate to receive and consider the report of committee.
It's on this note that I call on Senator Wamako, the Magatakadar Sokoto. Sorry, I'm title. Okay, Senator Wamako, Senator Yamman Sokoto, to move the motion for. Well, the follow is yielded to you. Sorry for Miss
okay.
For not saying your designation properly.
Thank you, Mr. President. I respectfully move that the Senate do receive and consider the report of the Committee on Local and Foreign Debt on the new external borrowing plan of 1,776,610,779,000 naira, equivalent to 2.20 billion US dollars in 2024 Appropriation Act. I do submit, Mr. President.
Senator Ned Morinwoko, can you please second the motion?
Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, my name is Senator Ned Nwoko. I represent the group people of Delta North, Delta State. I do second the motion ably moved by Senator Wamako. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion as moved by Senator Wamako, the second Yama of Sokoto, and seconded by Senator Ned Manir Nwoko, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Senator Wamako may wish to go further, please. Proceed, please.
Thank you, Mr. President, and my respected colleagues. Thank you once again, Mr. President, my dear colleagues. It may be recalled that this Senate received a communication from Mr. President requesting for approval of external borrowing amounting to 1.767 trillion naira, equivalent to $2.209 billion. as part of 2024 Operation Act to partially finance 7.179 trillion budget deficit in 2024. Mandate the request for the part of Committee on Laws and Foreign Debt to review and also recommendations. Funding plan. The borrowing plan will be raised on a combination of 1. Euro bond in the international capital market. 2. Sovereigns cook with ISEC guarantees. 3. Bridge financing syndicated loans if needed. Key benefits. Financing critical projects under 2024 Operation Act. 2. Supporting the debt management strategy to reduce borrowing costs, extend debt maturity, and ease domestic market pressure. 3. Strengthening external reserves at lower interest rates than domestic borrowing. Findings. Nigeria has raised $16.92 billion in the international market, with $15.12 billion outstanding. 2. The bridge financing option will be used only if market conditions delay the Eurobond issuance. 3. Borrowed funds will drive economic growth and stability. Recommendations. The committee recommends that the Senate Senate for approval for 1. The new assigned borrowing plan of 1.7677 trillion naira, equivalent to $2.209 billion at 800 naira US dollar exchange rate, to be raised from Eurobonds, sovereign sukuk, and syndicated loans. Prioritizing of Eurobond issuance up to approved amount. 3. Utilizing funds for exchange rate adjustment of 1,740 naira to US dollar for critical capital projects. 4. Issue promissory notes and bonds to settle federal government liabilities and minimize debt servicing costs. 5. Authorizing the Minister of Finance and Debt Management Office to execute this resolution. In conclusion, Mr. President, the committee urges the Senate to approve this request to enable the effective financing of 2024 budget and support Nigeria's long-term economic growth. To this end, I thank the leadership in the entire Senate for the confidence they asked to process this request. I so submit for consideration. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Chairman of the Committee of Local and Foreign Debt. The floor is yielded. You don't have the copy of the report?
We all have.
Please give him a copy of the report. So the floor is open for anyone that wants to make any observation. But the report is very straightforward, except if you have one or two observations to make. Mr. Chairman, you've done a wonderful job. Mr. Chairman, your job is, you've done a wonderful job. Wonderful job. But if anybody has any observation, do you have any observation? You don't have. Anyone against the report? Okay. Those in favor of the report as submitted by the chairman, local and foreign debt, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Senator Benson, take your seat. Senator Pasui, Senator Benson and Senator Alindume, take your seat. Senator Habib, take your seat.
So,
Senator Pasui.
Order, please.
Order,
let
please.
me commend the chairman.
Senator Manu, take your seat.
Order, please. Thank you, Chief Whip, for restoring order to the Senate. Let me, on this note, commend the chairman of the committee, the Selection Yama of South Porto and members of the committee for a job well done. The report is indeed well packaged and well properly articulated. Consider the fact that the job they had to do took them just 24 hours. This should have been something that would have taken longer time. They show sacrifice. You people show sacrifice for the interest of the country by working around the clock to make sure that you get everything done, and not only done but properly done. So we thank you very much, members of this the committee. The chairman, you have done a wonderful job. Thank you very much. The leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, the fourth order of the day is presentation and adoption of Conference Committee report on National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA Act, Amendment Bill 2024. Distinguished senators will recall that the Senate and the House passed a different version of National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA Act Amendment Bill 2024. The conference committee of both houses have met and harmonized the differences in accordance with Senate Standing Order 86. Mr. President, with your permission, I move the motion for the Senate to adopt the conference report.
The minority leader. You need to second.
Mr. President, I'd like to second the motion moved by the Senate leader. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion moved by the leader of the Senate and seconded by the minority leader, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Please, you can present the report.
Mr. President of the Senate, distinguished senators, my name is Mohamed Tahir Monguno. I represent Borno Senatorial District. I hereby move that the Senate do receive and adopt the Conference Committee report on the National Drug Law Enforcement NDLEA Act Amendment Bill 2024. I so move.
Senator Dixon, can you please second the motion?
Henry Siraki Dixon, Bayelsa West, I rise to second that this report be adopted. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion moved by the Chief Whip and seconded by Senator Dixon, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, I remain Mohamed Tahir Monguno. I represent Borno Senatorial District. This is a conference committee report to the Amendment Act being passed by this Senate, which is at variance with the version passed by the House of Representatives. The conference committee sat and adopted the following recommendations. Having successfully harmonized the Senate and House version of the bill, the conference committee adopted the House version, and conference committee hereby recommends as follows. Any person who is unlawfully involved in the storage, custody, movement, carriage, or concealment of dangerous drugs or controlled substances, and who, while so involved, is armed with any offensive weapon or is disguised in any way, shall be guilty of an offense under this act and liable on conviction to be sentenced to life imprisonment. I so recommend. Mr. President, distinguished senators, the conference committee adopted the House version of life imprisonment rather than the Senate version of death sentence against the backdrop of the fact that right now, Mr. President, distinguished senators, we have 52,901 people arrested for this crime between 2021 and now. 52,901. If the Senate version is adopted, that means all the 52,901 will be executed. And between same period, 9,034 were convicted for same offense. So because of that, the conference committee adopted the House version of life imprisonment, rather the death sentence version passed by the Senate. Because as it is now, even governors don't sign the warrant for execution. Don't sign the warrant for death sentence, for execution of people that were convicted for such offenses. So against this backdrop, the Senate, the conference committee adopted the life imprisonment version of the House of Representatives. Thank you.
Thank you, dear Chief Whip. There isn't any need to, because when you disagree with that, then we say go back and forth, and then it will become endless. So is it the view that the Senate adopt the conference committee's report? Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, say nay. Minority Leader. Okay, well, you are not on your seat. So it is a very important motion, because I don't want it to. It's all legitimate. I agree with you. So the ayes have it. So thank you very much, Chief Whip, for a job well done. You've shown experience by standing for the Senate and getting to this conclusion. In fact, I know if Senator Imamboye was here, I know he would have objected, because he was in the forefront. He was at the forefront of the introduction of a death penalty. But luckily for your report, luckily for you, Senator Imamboye, and those who were objecting to life imprisonment are not here. Otherwise, it will have become a heated debate to get your report through. Thank you very much for your job well done. And on this note, I call on the leader to move on. Proceed, Mr. Leader. Distinguished Leader. You have the floor, Leader.
Mr. President, the fifth order of the day is presentation and consideration of report of Committee on Establishment and Public Service on the confirmation of nomination of Oluwuraran Olola Bridget for appointment as Director General of National Pension Commission, PENCOM. The State Senator will recall that the request was referred to the committee on Tuesday, 24 September 2024. Mr. President, may wish to invite Senator Oluwole Fasuye Cyril, Chairman of Committee, to move the motion for presentation and consideration of reports.
Senator Cyril, the floor is yielded to you to move the motion for the presentation and consideration of your report. You have the floor.
Distinguished Senate President, distinguished colleagues, My name is Cyril Fashi. I represent the good and decent people of Ekiti North. I stand to move that the Senate do receive and consider the report of the Committee on Establishment and Public Service on the confirmation of the nomination of Olowo Raran Omolola Bridget for appointment as Director General of National Pension Commission. Distinguished Senate President, I so move.
Senator Prince Chief Agadaga, may you please second the motion moved by Senator Cyril.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, Senator Chief Benson Sunday Agadaga is my name. I speak for the good people of Bayelsa East Senatorial District in Bayelsa State. I rise to second the motion, ably moved by Senator Cyril, presenting the report of the screening for appointment in the commission. I so second. Thank you, Mr. President.
Those in favor of the motion moved by Senator Cyril and seconded by Senator Agadaga, Distinguished Senator Chief Agadaga, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Senator Cyril, you may wish to present your report.
Senate President, distinguished colleagues, I stand to present the report on the screening for the confirmation by the Senate of the presidential nomination for appointment to the position of Director General of National Pension Commission. Introduction. Senate at its sitting held on Wednesday, 31st July 2024, considered the request of Mr. President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria for the confirmation of the nomination of Olowo Raran Omolola Bridget for appointment to the position of Director General of National Pension Commission, and refer same to this committee for further legislative action by Senate Resolution number NASS/10S/R/01/300 dated 25th September 2024. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, let me go to the recommendation. Oh, sorry. Yes. 4.0, screening of the nominee. At the screening, the committee was guided by the relevant provisions of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended, Senate Standing Order 2023 as amended, and the Pension Reform Act 2024 Act number 4 as amended. The committee invited the nominee to appear before it in person on Thursday, 10th October 2024 for the screening. At the screening session, distinguished members of the committee examined her curriculum vitae and other accompanying documents, and thereafter asked her questions with respect to her life, educational qualification, and work experience, career progression, with a view to ascertaining whether she possesses the required capacity, competence, qualification, and cognate experiences required by law for appointment as Director General of the National Pension Commission. 4.3, screening of Oloworaran Omotola Bridget. Oloworaran Omotola Bridget was born 28 December 1978 at Zaria, Kaduna State. She is from Kaba Town, Kaba Bunu local government area of Kogi State. She attended the following academic institution where she obtained the following academic qualifications and certificates as contained in the report. Work experience and career progression as also contained in the report. (5.0) Findings and observations. At the end of the screening, the committee held a brief markup session where it deliberated extensively on the nominee's life, academic qualifications, work experience, competence, and integrity required for appointment as Director General of National Pension Commission, and thereafter established the following findings and observations to wit: that the nominee, one, that the nominee possesses the required legal requirements specified under the provision of Section 19, subsection 2, subsection 5, 6, and 26 of the Pension Reform Act 2024, Act number 4, necessary for appointment to the position of Director General of the National Pension Commission. 2, that as at the time of this report, there is no any adverse security report or petition before the committee against the nomination of the nominee for appointment as Director General of National Pension Commission. 3, that the committee has established both in fact and in law that the nominee has satisfied the requisite requirement and is hereby affirmed to be qualified, fit, and proper person suitable for appointment as the Director General of the National Pension Commission. Recommendation. Accordingly, the Senate Committee on Establishment and Public Service Matters has screened the nominee and satisfied with respect to educational qualification, cognate work experience, competence, and hereby recommends as follows: that the Senate do confirm the nomination of Mrs. Oloworaran Omolola Bridget for appointment as the Director General of the National Pension Commission. Distinguished colleagues, distinguished Senate President, distinguished colleagues, I so move. Thank you.
Very much. Is there any comment before we go to the committee of the whole? Okay, Senator Babangida Hussein, you may wish to bear your mind.
Thank you very much, Senate President, distinguished colleagues. I'm Senator Babangida Hussein representing Jigawa Northwest. I think maybe just to throw a little light about the report itself, because what came across to the committee in respect of the performance of the nominee during the screening exercise, at the same time going through her resume, members were excited with her background as an investment and security expert. This came out very clearly, and coming from the other side, the civil service as it were, major complaint of civil servants in terms of their pension funds is about the security of their pension funds. Secondly, the returns they expect to get from their pension fund when they are invested in the investment and capital markets. So the candidate displayed clear understanding and established a clear roadmap of how the pension sector should be managed. Because in other climes, the pension sector drives the economy. The US relies heavily on the funding from the pension sector to drive the financial sector of their economy. So I think, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the candidate is fitted and very much suitable to discharge the responsibilities of the office of the DG. I therefore have no hesitation in availing and shedding more light on this report. Thank you very much.
Well, Senator Amigida has said it all, but let me yield the ground to Senator Karimi and Senator Issa Jibrin to round it up so that we can resolve to committee of whole to move forward for the confirmation. Senator Karimi, you have 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. President, my colleagues. This woman has distinguished herself in her career. She worked with the First Bank, and she left there with an impeccable record. In fact, she's a brilliant professional that will do the nation proud. Having such a lady in such a sensitive position will also add value not only to this government, but to the nation as a whole. I want us to just consider this report and give her an approval. Thank you.
Senator Issa Jibrin, you have the floor.
Okay. Your Excellency, the President of the Senate, very distinguished colleagues, my name is Issa Jibrin. I represent Kogi East. Mr. President, first I want to thank the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Ahmed Bola Tinubu, for nominating this particular candidate. This candidate is sufficiently groomed in terms of academics and in terms of professional callings. She is going to bring to bear her experiences to turn around the fortune of this agency. As a matter of fact, 2 weeks after she resumed in her new office, she was able to recover billions of naira that were trapped hitherto, okay, before she came in. Those monies were trapped one way or the other with the various pension funds. And at the end of the day, she was able to, using her background as a banker, get all those monies in within 2 weeks after she resumed in this her new responsibility. I want to believe that this is a very good addition to the New Hope agenda of the President of the Republic of Nigeria. I thank you very much.
Having had positive recommendation from the committee and attestation to the sound pedigree of the nominee, let me therefore call on the leader of the Senate to move a motion so that this Augustine will resolve to the committee of the whole to consider a report. You have the floor, Senate leader.
Mr. President, I stand to move a motion that we resolve to committee of whole to consider the report. I so move.
Minority leader. Minority leader.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. I rise to second the motion moved by the Senate leader. I so second.
Those in favor that this August Senate resolve to the committee of the whole to consider the report, please say aye. Those against, say nay. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it.
Approval. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Oluworara Olulola Bridget for appointment as Director General of National Pension Commission? Those in favor, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The leader of this.
Mr. Senate President, I stand to move a motion that we revert back to plenary for Mr. President to report progress. So,
The minority leader.
Mr. President, sitting as chair, between colleagues, I write to second the motion that they have to file back to plenary for the chair to report progress.
Those in favor of the motion that the committee will hold revert to this plenary to report progress, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Report. The Senate and the Committee of the Whole consider the report. The Committee on the Establishment and Public Services on the confirmation of Mr. of Mr. President's nominee for appointment as the Director General of National Pension Commission, PENCON, and approve the nomination of Oluworara Omotola Bridget as the Director General of National Pension Commission, PENCOM. It is a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole. Committee Chairman, you are not even, where is he? Cyril? Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Confirmation. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Oluworara Olulola Bridget for appointment as Director General of National Pension Commission, PENCOM? Those in favor, please say aye. Those against say nay. The nomination of Oluworara Olulola Bridget is hereby confirmed as Director General of National Pension Commission, PENCOM. Let me commend the Committee on the Establishment and Public Services of the Senate, led by distinguished Senator Cyril Oluwole Fasui, for a job well done. You've done a wonderful job by screening this nominee, and you found out that she possesses the sound pedigree needed for someone to perform as a DG of PENCOM. And your report is attested to by senators from her state and those in the banking industry where she served excellently. It is therefore necessary to commend you for what you've done. Thank you very much, Senator Cyril and members of your committee. Continue to do good jobs such as these for the Senate and indeed the entire people of this country. Thank you very much. The leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, the sixth order of the day is the presentation and consideration of report of Committee on Tertiary Institutions and TED Fund of Federal University of Agriculture and Entrepreneur Farmer Establishment Bill 2024 SB 185. Distinguished senators will recall that the bill was referred to the committee on Thursday, 16 May 2024. Mr. President, you may wish to invite Senator Muhammad Danduze Mutari, Chairman of Committee, to move the motion for presentation and consideration of report.
Senator Muhammad Danduze Mutari, the Chairman of the Senate Committee on Tertiary Institution TED Fund. You have the floor to move your motion for the presentation and consideration of your report. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. My respected colleagues, I'm Senator Danduze Mutari Mohammed, representing Katsina South. Mr. President, the Senate do receive and consider the report of the Committee on Tertiary Institutions and TED Fund on the Federal University of Agriculture and Entrepreneurship Farmer Establishment Bill 2024 SB 185. I so move.
Distinguished Senator Johanna, you have the floor. You can maybe second the motion.
Our dear President of the Senate, distinguished colleagues, I remain Amos Johanna, Adamawa North. I rise to second the motion that the report of the Committee on Tertiary Institutions and TED Fund be presented. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Senator Mohammed Danduze Mutari, you may present your report.
Thank you, Mr. President. My respected colleagues, the objective of the bill is to encourage an advancement of learning and to develop academic professionalism and act as agent of catalyst through postgraduate training and produce socially matured men and women with capacity and capability not only to understand the dynamic and structure in agricultural technology, but also in multidimensional. Mr. President, my respected colleagues, the recommendation of the committee that the Senate do consider and pass the bill for an act to establish the Federal University of Agriculture and Entrepreneurship Bama, Borno State, make a comprehensive provision for a due management administration for related matters 2024 as recommended. In conclusion, I wish to use this opportunity to thank the President of the Senate and distinguished colleagues for the opportunity to serve in this capacity and to humbly request the Senate to pass this bill. I so move, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nduzi, the experience legislator for going straight to read the important aspects of your report. This is a normal thing. There is kind of bills always on this floor every day. I don't think we need to go into any prolonged debate on this. For this reason, let me call on the leader of the Senate to move a motion that the Senate resolve to the committee of the whole to consider the report.
Mr. President, I stand to move a motion that we resolve into Committee of All to consider this report expediently.
Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. I like to second the motion by saying that the House resolved to Committee of Whole to consider the report submitted. I so second.
Those in favor that this August Senate resolve to the Committee of the Whole to consider a report as moved by the leader of the Senate and seconded by the minority leader, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Those in favor that clauses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 stand pass of the bill, please say aye. Those in favor that clauses 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15 stand part of the bill, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clauses 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20 stand part of the bill, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clauses 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, all stand pass of the bill, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clauses 20, pages 26, sorry. Favor that clauses 22 to 27 stand part of the bill, please say aye. The ayes have it. Those in favor that the explanatory memorandum stand pass of the bill, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The leader of the Senate, can you move the motion that we revert to plenary to report progress?
Mr. President, I stand to move. I will revert back to plenary
for you to report progress. And so,
Minority Leader, you have the floor to second the motion.
thank you, Mr. President, Mr. Chair. I like to second the motion by Senate Leader. I so second.
Those in favor that resolve to plenary. This August Senate resolves to plenary to report program. Please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Report. The Senate, in the Committee of the Whole, consider the report of the Committee on Tertiary Institutions and Third Funds on the Federal University of Agriculture and Entrepreneurship, Burma, Establishment Bill sponsored by Senator Kakashi Lawan and approved as follows. Long title, as recommended. Number of clauses, as recommended. Interpretation, clause 26, as recommended. Short title, clause 27, as recommended. Schedules 1 to 3, as recommended. Explanatory memorandum, as recommended. It is a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole. Senator Kakasho, it's your bill. Nobody answered. You should answer. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole?
Mr. Senate President, I stand to raise the motion that the Federal University of Agriculture and Entrepreneur Farmer Establishment Bill 2024 be now read the third time.
You have the floor to second the motion.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, I like to second the motion moved by the Senate Leader that the bill be read the third time. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion moved by the Senate Leader that the bill be read the third time and seconded by no minority leader, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, the Bama, Borno State, make comprehensive provisions for its due management and administration and for related matters 2024. Third reading.
A bill for now to establish the Federal University of Agriculture and Entrepreneurship, Burma, Borno State. Make comprehensive provisions for its due management and administration and related matters 2024, third reading taken and passed. Let me commend the chairman of the Committee on Tertiary Institutions and Third Funds, the hardworking, distinguished Senator Mutari Nduzi, and members of her committee for a job well done. You've done the job of getting together your report within the time given to you. And your report is well put together without any mistake and well articulated. This Senate commends you for what you've been doing because you've been having the highest number. You have the highest number of bills coming to your committee. And you'll be discharging your duties promptly, without delay. Please go on what you've been doing and what you are doing, as we are proud of you. More reports will come, more referral will come to you. So do all your work with dispatch, as you've done in this report. And I also commend the sponsor of the bill, Senator Kaka Shehu, SAN, for initiating the bill in the first place. Because creating this university will help in a very, very good fashion in bringing about the food sufficiency we've been craving for in this country. And it's not only restricted to agriculture, but entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is an area that we want to promote because of its importance. So, and this university has the two combined. So this is a very well thought out initiative, and we thank you for what you've done. Very good. So we hope that we have the concurrence by the House of Reps and then the assent of Mr. President to bring your initiative into fruition. Thank you very much. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, the seventh order of the day is presentation and consideration of report of Committee on National Planning and Economic Affairs, Finance and Appropriation, on Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission Bill 2024. The distinguished senators will recall that the bill was referred to the committee on Tuesday, 7th May 2024. Mr. President, you may wish to invite Senator Abdullahi Yahya Abubakar, Chairman of Committee, to move the motion for presentation and consideration of the report.
Let me now yield the floor to the former leader of the Senate, Senator Yahya Abdullahi, to move his motion for the presentation and consideration of the report. Our former leader, you have the floor.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. I rise to move a motion for this distinguished Senate to receive and consider the report of the Committees on National Planning and Economic Affairs, Finance and Appropriations on the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2024. I so move, Mr. President.
Senator Isa Jibrin Ochocho, you may second the motion moved by the former minority leader for the presentation and consideration of the report.
Okay, Your Excellency, the President of the Senate, very distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion that the report of the Senate Committees on National Planning and Economic Affairs, Finance and Appropriations on a bill for an act to repeal the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission Act (CAP) R7 Laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 2004 and enact the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission Bill 2024 to grant the Commission powers to monitor accruals to and disbursement of revenue from the Federation account and to bring the Act in conformity with the provisions of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 and for related matters. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion moved by the former leader of the Senate and seconded by Senator Isa Jibrin, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Your Excellency, former leader, the floor is yielded to you to present your report and move into reading your report.
Mr. President, my highly respected colleagues, chairmen and members of the three committees to whom this bill was referred to, I stand before you to present the report of the Senate Committees on National Planning and Economic Affairs, Finance and Appropriations, on a bill for an act to repeal the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission Act, R7 Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and enact the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission Bill 2024 to grant the Commission the powers to monitor accruals to and disbursement of revenue from the Federation account to bring the Act in conformity with the provisions of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended, and for related matters. The Senate at plenary on the 7th of May 2024 debated on the general principles of this particular bill. The bill was referred to us from the House of Representatives for concurrence. But because of the importance and implication of some of the provisions of the bill, and also bearing in mind that this Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission is a constitutional body with powers granted to the Commission under the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, it was decided that normal concurrence that we do as a sign of respect for the interchamber reciprocity, for this one, very serious scrutiny needs to be made to ensure that the powers that were granted under the Constitution to this committee are not superseded by any addition. And that's why, in the wisdom of this great institution, it was considered important that this committee, or three committees, need to go through thoroughly the provisions of the Act so that we can sort it out. Members of the committees annexed both national planning, finance, and appropriation are attached at the end of this presentation. And while sitting and considering, I think we had so many meetings, about 3 or 5. You can note that the whole process started in May, and we are now in November, which is indicative of a lot of work that this committee went through. We went through with a hair comb to make sure that the law does not give the committees or the commission powers that it does not have under the Constitution. We also saw that it is important, for us to ensure that the committee is funded from the Federation account sufficiently to enable the Commission to carry out its constitutional responsibilities. And with this in mind, the bill was referred back. The committees referred back the bill to a committee to be made up of the representative of the Ministry of Finance, the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission itself, and the Federal Ministry of Justice. Because when we looked at it, we found that the legislative or the elegance of the presentation of the bill needs to be perfected by the Ministry of Justice. These institutions met on several occasions and brought the bill back to the three committees, which sat down and considered all these issues. And we also made some further refinements to ensure that, all the issues that I raised earlier are taken care of. And we also devised the best way in which we can be able to fund the committee and the commission so that it does its work. So with this introduction, I think I have already produced the matter. We don't need to go through all the other issues that are there. And in conclusion, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, on behalf of the three committees of National Planning and Economic Affairs, the Senate Committee on Finance, and Senate Committee on Appropriation, we want to thank you very much for the opportunity given to three committees to be part of the processing of this bill. The incisive contributions that have been made to the debate on the general principles of the bill richly impacted on the processing of the report. We also want to express our gratitude to the Ministry of Justice and to the Ministry of Finance, who sat around and going through this bill, which brought us back again, and we also considered. So I want to use this opportunity before you do so to thank all the members of the three committees for the very patient and painstaking way in which they went through the provisions of this bill until we come before you on this August occasion today. It's an August day in January. And I think with this, the committees, I want to report also that Mr. President, in his wisdom and in the recognition of the importance of this commission, has brought to full complement the membership of this commission. Every state now has a representation on this commission, and we want to use this opportunity to thank Mr. President for the very prompt way in which this thing has been. The commission has been underrepresented, I think, for the past 4 or 5 years. But Mr. President, in his to implement the agenda of the government, make sure that this commission was given the pride of place in his New Hope agenda. So, Mr. President, with this, I would like to thank you very much and thank the Senate for giving us the opportunity to be part of this process. I thank you and God bless you.
Thank you very much for your straightforward and well articulated report. And because of how the report is well crafted and well explained, I don't think anyone will have anything to raise in terms of lack of clarity or lack of any information that may be missing. So, to due respect, let me call on the Senate leader so that we can resolve to the committee of whole to consider the report. The Senate leader.
Mr. Senate President, I stand to move that Senate do resolve to Committee of Whole to consider the report.
Though, Minority Leader, please.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. I rise to second the motion moved by Senate Leader that the House resolve to Committee of Whole to consider the report. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion moved by the leader and seconded by Minority Leader, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Those in favor that clauses 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 stand part of the bill, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clauses 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 stand part of the bill, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clauses 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, 12 stand part of the bill, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clauses 13, 14, 15, 16 stand part of the bill, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clauses 17, 18, 19, and 20 stand part of the bill, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that the explanatory memorandum stand part of the bill. Explanatory memorandum page 35 stand part of the bill, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The leader of the Senate, can you move the motion that will revert to plenary to report progress?
Mr. President, I stand to move a motion that will revert back to plenary for you to report progress.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion moved by Senate Leader that refer back to plenary to report progress. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion, moved by the leader and seconded by Minority Leader, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Report. The report, the Senate in the Committee of the Whole consider the report of the committees on national planning and economic affairs, finance and appropriations, on the revenue mobilization allocation and fiscal commission repeal and enactment bill 2024 and approve as follows. Long title as recommended. Number of clauses 1 to 18 as recommended. Interpretation, clause 19 as recommended. Short title as recommended. Schedule 1 to 3 as recommended. Explanatory memorandum as recommended. This is a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole. The Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, I stand to move a motion that the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission Bill 2024 be now read the third time.
The Clerk of the Senate. Oh, sorry. With the Minority Leader. You've been away for a while, so.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I second the motion that the bill be read a third time. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion, moved by the leader and seconded by the minority leader who has just arrived to the chambers, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The Clerk of the Senate.
Senator Pasui, Senator Net Wonko, take your seats.
A bill for an act to repeal the revenue, mobilization, allocation, and fiscal commission act cap. R7, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, and enact revenue mobilization, allocation, and fiscal commission to grant the commission powers to monitor accruals, to and disbursement of revenue from the Federation account, and bring the act in conformity with the provisions of the 1999 Constitution as amended, and for other matters related therewith 2024, third reading taken and passed. Let me commend the chairman of the Joint Committee and members of the committee for a job well done. We are not surprised looking at when one considers the caliber of the legislation involved. on with this assignment. Senators who have experience and very sound background in the areas that are covered in the assignment. That's why I'm sure the reason that we have well adequate reports and this, I'm sure the outcome of the exercise which has just been passed will help to reposition the Revenue Mobilization and Fiscal Commission in the best manner possible for it to perform its statutory role. We hope that what has been done now will receive the concurrence of the House of Representatives and the assent of Mr. President eventually. Thank all senators for their contribution to the passage of this very important bill. The Leader of the Senate.
Your Excellency, the President of the Senate, I will want to create your indulgence to step down the 8th order of the day on House Bill for concurrence until another legislative day and move straight to the last item of the day on a motion by our leader. I so move.
The Minority Leader.
I want to second the motion, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, that the last item on the agenda for today's plenary is a motion by, Okay. Leader said I should support. I should support.
Thank you for your support to the motions moved by the Majority Leader. Those in favor of that motion moved by the Leader and supported by the Majority Leader, please say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it.
Mr. President, the 9th order of the day is motion standing in the name of Senator Mangono Mohammed Tahir on the need to deploy adequate security personnel to endanger local government areas in Borno State. Mr. President, you may wish to invite Senator Mangono Mohammed Tahir to move the motion.
Senator Tahir Mohammed Mongono, the Chief Whip of the Senate of the Federal Republic. The floor is yield to you to move your motion.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, my name is Mohammed Tahir Mongono. I represent Borno North Senatorial District. The motion is on the need to deploy adequate security personnel in endangered local government areas in Borno State. The Senate notes that for many years, Borno State has been bedeviled by insurgency, with communities facing one form of attack or the other every now and then. Aware that recently relative peace has been restored in Borno State due to efforts of the Nigerian armed forces, which are commendable. However, some communities are still besieged by insecurity, as Gozamala local governments do not have any civil authority in place, no military presence, while Abadam and Marte local government areas need security reinforcement. Also aware that the aforementioned areas are predominantly agrarian communities, with Marte local government area being known for large-scale production of wheat and rice. Worried that communities in those areas are still under the captivity of Boko Haram, and the people have been suffering untold hardship as a result of the insecurity, which has damaged local economy, infrastructure, and livelihoods herein. And also worried that the absence of military personnel in the areas may cause the insurgents to become more emboldened and attempt to capture surrounding communities, thus ruining the previous efforts by the government to secure the state. Accordingly, resolves to urge the Nigerian Armed Forces to establish a super camp at Guzama local government area and mobilize adequate personnel to secure Abadam and Marte local government areas of Borno State, and mandate the committees on Army and Air Force to ensure implementation. Mr. President, distinguished senators, it may interest you to know that local government, Guzamala local government, which is one local government from my senatorial district, and a neighboring local government to my own local government of Monguno, is completely under the control, tight control of Boko Haram insurgents, because of the fact that not a single security personnel is found in the whole local government. As a result, civil authority is lost, and Boko Haram are effectively in control of that local government. They have imposed taxes on people, they have imposed levies on people, and there is no security personnel to challenge them, and there is no civil authority that is in existence in that local government because of the presence of Boko Haram and the tight control, the total control they have in that local government. So therefore, we are craving for the indulgence of this Senate to direct the Nigerian military to make their presence felt with a view to repelling the Boko Haram insurgents in that local government, because if we allow them to exist in that local government, they will be further emboldened and have all the luxury to organize and attack other neighboring local governments, particularly my own local government of Monguno and other neighboring local governments, that peace has been restored, civil authority has been restored, and people are started going back to their respective communities to pick the pieces of their lives. So it is very important that this local government is secured and this local government is redeemed from the tight control of Boko Haram, as well as Abadam and Marte local government, that though we have military presence, but they are equally challenged. We need further reinforcements in these two other local governments, while complete repelling of Boko Haram in one local government of Guzamala. Thank you.
The former president of the Senate, Senator Amelon. Thereafter, Senator Kaka will have his say.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, I am Ahmed Lawan. I represent Yobe North Senatorial District. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, this again is an indication that we are not able to capture every piece of our land from the insurgents. That is unfortunate. But before I comment on what we need to do, let me commend our military for working so hard to ensure that we secure our lands and protect our territorial integrity. Mr. President, the story is we don't have enough boots on the ground. So we need a task force of some sort that the military is able to occupy areas that it could capture, and the police and other security agencies will now be moved in to reestablish civilian authority. Mr. President, Boko Haram was defeated at one point almost completely. Some will say technically defeated. But what is important to an average citizen is not technically or completely. Our citizens, our indigents need safe and secured towns and cities and hamlets. So the case of our brother from Borno North is a case that we must ensure that we do something. This we can do together with the executive arm of government. In the prayers, I think the request is for the Air Force and the Army. This is a normal joint operational activity. And therefore, the Chief of Defense Staff is supposed to be at the helm of this particular affair, and the services can come in. But we are also lucky, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, that we are yet to pass the budget for 2025. We should look at this, and indeed similar areas that are challenged in this kind of situation. Because no matter what we do, no matter how hard we wish and we could provide infrastructure, the infrastructure can only be useful to the people if they are safe and protected. So I believe that we should tailor some resources in this area, and let's find out which are the areas. Is it in the northwest? Is it in the north central? Is it in the southeast or south or southwest that are not in our hands? We need to recapture them. Thank you very much, Mr. President, for the privilege.
Senator Baba Kaka Shehu Lawan.
Thank you, Mr. President and distinguished colleagues. My name is Kaka Shehu Lawan. I represent the good people of Borno Central Senatorial District. Let me first and foremost commend Senator Mohamed Tahir Monguno, the Chief Whip of the Senate, for bringing this motion to the Senate, and also sympathize with him with what is happening in his senatorial district. Let me also join my leader, the former Senate President, in supporting the motion ably moved by Senator Monguno. Mr. President, sir, prior to my election as a senator, I was the chairman of a committee set up by Borno State government to relocate the IDPs that were dislodged by Boko Haram in their various communities. I know the terrain very well. The Nigerian military had Operation Hadinkai, Sector 1 in Monguno, the headquarters of Monguno local government. And then the multinational joint task force also had its Sector 3 headquarters in Monguno. But Mr. President, it will interest you to note, Borno North Senatorial District comprises of 10 local government areas, and it is a very vast land. Now, the military agreed they are overstretched, but then Borno North share borders with the Republic of Niger and Chad. They use the territorial waters of Lake Chad and Nigeria, the territorial waters between Lake Chad and Nigeria, to navigate themselves their ways into Nigeria and find a safe haven. Imagine a local government headquarters without a single military deployment, and then locals were staying there. So the havoc caused by these miscreants is very serious. So we need to nip this thing in the bud by urging the military to establish not only a super camp, but let them deploy, despite the fact they're overstretched, let them have a permanent deployment in Guzamala, the headquarters of Guzamala local government area. While I also associate myself with the former Senate President that there must be a joint task force to supplement or rather complement the efforts of the military in wiping out this Boko Haram entirely. Just a couple of days ago, they launched a serious attack on Kareto, a very popular town in Borno North Senatorial District, where they carted away serious military hardware. So that is very dangerous. If something is not done, they are going to continue their nefarious activities in that senatorial district and possibly escalate to other senatorial districts. Mr. President, one fact is very clear. They had a similar attack on the Chadian troops in the Republic of Chad. The president took it upon himself to command the troops of Chadian forces and wipe out these guys. So in so doing, they are now trespassing
into the territorial integrity of Nigeria, the territorial borders of Nigeria, where we don't have military deployment, that is their safe haven. So something has to be done immediately by curtailing this ugly terrain. I so support, Mr. President. Thank you.
Minority Leader, sorry, we have to shift this way. Two people have spoken that way. Minority Leader will speak. Then I'm sorry, I will have decade plan, but we have Senator Ahmed Ndeme from the state. So when he speaks, then you speak. So Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, once more, we are faced with another round of debate and speeches on the issue of insecurity. I seize this opportunity, therefore, to sympathize with my colleague and brother, Senator Mongunu, and commiserate with the families of those affected in this current imbroglio. Mr. President, it is sad that we are talking about this issue in spite of the spirited efforts by the government and the armed forces of Nigeria and all other security agencies involved in combating the menace of insecurity. The President has rightly pointed out by the mover of this motion, time was when the activities of Boko Haram was literally wiped out or decimated. But we will continue to have this recurring decimal in Borno in particular, and then in some other parts, other forms of insecurity activities taking place. Mr. President, like he rightly pointed out, there was a time that this thing was literally nipped in the bud. But unfortunately, I think that what we failed to do was taking some proactive measures to ensure that these insurgents did not come back to the cities. At a point, the idea of holding forces was mooted, in which it was agreed that a special force be trained specifically to hold the liberated areas where Boko Haram activities were taking place. But unfortunately, Mr. President, as it were, nothing of that nature has happened. And so it becomes very easy for Boko Haram and its agents to come back to areas that have been liberated by our armed forces. Mr. President, I think it was suggested on the floor of this Senate before that it doesn't solve our problem if we continue to debate and provide solutions to the problem of insecurity, especially the activities of Boko Haram, if we do not muster the sufficient courage to give a kind of timeline to our armed forces and our security agents to nip these insecurity activities across the country. Mr. President, I think it is not correct, because I know that the Nigerian military and security agencies are professional enough to know when to start a war and when to end a war. I am not sure that those of us who are living witnesses to the Biafran War noticed that the Biafran War took this long to nip in the bud. Whether it is asymmetrical or a normal war, I think that we must find answers to the problem of our insecurity. And so once more, while I sympathize with the people of the local government occupied by the Boko Haram insurgents, I want to urge the armed forces and our security agents to take very proactive actions in liberating these communities from the hands of these insurgents. Thank you, Mr. President.
My distinguished colleagues, please, you need to bear with us because we will need to adjourn to come back to pass the votes and proceedings of our proceedings today, because there's urgency attached to the report of the Committee on Local and Foreign Debt that we just passed, because there's urgency attached to it. If that is not submitted, it will go against the time stipulated for the entire transaction. So it's on this note that I appeal to you, we'll limit our contribution to this debate so that the Secretariat, the clerk office can go and prepare the votes and proceedings while we take our lunch. So please bear with us. I will call Senator Ali Ndeme and any other person I want to speak. We give you the time to speak when we come back because there's still another motion, another concurrence that we need to do. We give you time to speak on that. But they need time to go and prepare the votes and proceed. He just told me now. So please, Senator Ali Ndeme, order please. Order please. I appeal to you to speak for 2 minutes so that we can go and prepare the votes and proceedings. Otherwise, it will be too late for them to prepare the report, and the entire transaction in respect of the loan will now be in jeopardy if you don't get everything done within this short time available to us. Former leader of the Senate, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I'm Senator Ali Dume, representing Borno South. This motion brought by Senator M.T. Mangona is very, very important. And that's why, Mr. President, I will have to appeal to you to speak by giving the facts. Just continuing from where distinguished Senator Kakashew stopped. In Chad, that is one of the black spots. We have joint task force already, but they are not equipped. They are not well trained. They are not motivated. In fact, the joint task force is headed by a Nigerian from Yobe State, General Yusuf. Now, what happened was actually all this while they know the line. They have like a border with the Chad Republic, and they never go there. When they went there and killed their people, the president led the operations, and that was what led to their success, and they moved over, and the first target is to dislodge our military around that Kereto and cut it away. In terms of replacing what the Chadian president led and recovered from them. What we need to do is still the same, sir. The Chadian government led the operation by their president. We are not saying that we should do that, but there should be a special operation because this problem is cancerous and is expanding. We are talking about them in Sokoto, Kebbi now. We are talking about them in Niger. They are going to Plateau. They are drawing the second cycle. The main purpose of government is security and welfare of its citizens. It's there in our constitution. We cannot change it. So everything should be focused on security. Because if we say it's Borno today, and we need to discuss it slightly, saying that we should talk about it in 2 minutes, it will one day get to Kano. God forbid. But it tried to get to Kano. The Kano people stood up. That was how Kano is still standing. If not, the late Ado Bayero was nearly killed. So, Mr. President, this is an occasion where the Senate must be responsible. We should stand up to the occasion and demand. The Senate president before, Senator Amelan, during his tenure, three times, we set up a committee. And at one time, we invited everybody. We pushed, and you were the chairman appropriation then, and we pushed the government to approve 809 billion to procure the Tucano. But it was wrongly used. You went and procured Tucano while we needed attack helicopters. If we have attack helicopters around that area now, this Boko Haram will not even go there because the Chadians went there with only 2 attack helicopters. Right now, the joint task force you are talking about have only 1 helicopter. So the Senate should, the mover of the motion should amend this motion, and let's be blunt about it.
Let's ask the government to do the right thing. And I'm sure that if we tell the president what to do, he will do it. He will do it. So let us stand up as Senate. We are just approving a borrowing about 2.2 billion to fund the budget. What budget if we are not secured? So, Mr. President, I'm sorry, I've taken much more time, but let us take this thing more serious. It can be done in 1 week. It can be done.
Thank you very much. Even the Super Tucano you're talking about, the Obama administration refused to sell it to us. It was President Trump administration that sold the Super Tucano to us. So we thank Senator Trump for doing that. Having mentioned Nasarawa and Plateau, let me yield the ground. Otherwise, we'll have closed the debate. So, Senator from Plateau, the plan, you have the floor. Then we have Senator from Nasarawa, Senator Wadada. Oh, it's not even here. Oh, okay, around. Okay. Okay, Senator Plan.
President of the Senate, my dear colleagues, I'm Senator Ticket Plan, representing Plateau Central. I rise again to support in its totality this motion raised by Senator Mongono. And I also rise, I'm also here agreeing with the views that most other contributors have said. It was Borno, but it is everywhere now. Most of us cannot easily visit and dine with our electorates because our villages are no more safe. President of the Senate and my colleagues, even 3 days ago, my constituents were killed by these terrorists. I personally feel, just as contributed by Senator Ahmed Lawal, that the 2025 budget is about to come to us. I feel that apart from acquiring more weapons, we need more recruit of personnel into our security agencies, because the ratio of our population to security personnel is very low. We must deliberately appropriate more funds for recruitment of our youths into the security forces. When we have that, sir, it will take care of unemployment and will also provide security to our people. Our villages are not safe. And if our electors are not safe, we are not safe too, sir. I pray that...
Thank you very much. Your time is up.
Thank you, sir. I agree, sir.
Thank you very much, Senator Mustafa. You have the floor. Sorry, my former chairman, because he's from Yobe.
Yes.
It's part of the problem. So let him speak.
Chairman, my name is Musa Mustafa, representing Yobe East. Mr. President, I support this motion by our leader, Senator Mongono. This issue of insecurity, especially the issue of Boko Haram, is spacing gradually, even in some part of Yobe State. A lot of local governments in Yobe State that are bordering this local government he mentioned are also facing the same problem, the same attacks. You can remember that there are some attacks 2 months ago in Mafa in Termua local government of Yobe State, where a lot of people were killed and a lot of properties were destroyed by these Boko Haram insurgents. Recently also, there are a series of attacks in Gaidam local government of Yobe State and Yunusari local government in Yobe State. Those local government are also bordering these areas he had mentioned. Therefore, I totally align myself with the suggestion by His Excellency, the leader, the former President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, that a serious action should be taken to curtail these issues of Boko Haram that are resurfacing now recently. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Wadada Ahmed Aliyu. You have the floor.
bodies. Thank you very much, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. I remain Senator Ahmed Wadada Aliyu Sarkin Yakin Kefi, the famous horse rider. Of course, the importance of this motion cannot be overemphasized. And I think by all intent and purposes of commitment, our colleagues have spoken and virtually have said it all, with the exception of what I am going to say. Regardless of where these bandits are from, they are locally incubated or internationally coordinated. They cannot achieve their set objectives fully in any local environment if they do not have some level of support of the natives or locals there. And so, to weaken them is one of the things that makes it much easier for them to recruit our youth, is because of poverty. Hunger is a major vehicle of poverty, violence, and every negativity that obtains today in every society. So all I'm trying to say, in looking for ways to alleviate this problem, we must also talk about the situation that the citizens of this country are in. An average Nigerian citizen is entangled in poverty. Of course, efforts are being made across board by governments to see that solutions or hunger or poverty is adequately taken care of in the country. But much more needs to be done. And if we take care of poverty, of course, it will reduce the rate at which these bandits recruit our youth into their activities. So to me, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, as representatives of the people here, we must at all times ensure that we give support. And not only give support, we look for ways and means that the situation of Nigerians will be better cushioned so that they remain focused and, of course, nationalistic in their thinking and conduct. I so contribute. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator, all of you speak, no problem. Because Senator Adam Oshimole wants to speak, and we can't say no to him. He has to speak. Senator Ned Munir speak, then we move to the other side to balance it up.
Thank you, Mr. President, and my distinguished colleagues. My name is Senator Ned Mwoko. I represent the good people of Delta, North Delta State. Mr. President, just aligning myself with most of the speakers, but particularly the last speaker, our horse rider, Senator Aliyu. It's just the fact that there's insecurity across the nation. And we keep talking about it and keep thinking that empowering our soldiers or our police is the solution. I take a different view. I've always said that we must look at the reasons why people are agitating, why people are fighting, why they are willing to carry guns to be killed or kill. You know, we all know, for instance, that tomorrow we are expected to be in Anambra State for the burial of our departed colleague, Senator Oba. But most of the senators that you ask are unwilling to go to Southeast because of the dangers posed by those who are disgruntled, And we cannot have a nation where some parts of the country are no-go areas. It just doesn't make any sense. My solution is a very simple one, and I've said it and I keep saying it. We need to have a national dialogue. We need to bring all the dissenting voices, all the groups that are agitating for one thing or the other. Mr. President, let's talk to them. Let's talk to them, just like the IRA and the British government did over some time ago. We just need to dialogue. That is the only way we can resolve this. But if we just keep thinking that it's about pumping money to the military or buying some attack helicopters, it just wouldn't work. Because you can't kill ideas just with barrels of gun. And most of these people have resolved to die because of how they have seen themselves over time, deprived, denied, degraded. So, Mr. President, let's look at some other solutions. Whilst I support this particular motion, yes, I do support it, because we must have some interim measures. But let's look at long-term measures. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Adam Oshomole.
Mr. President, I do appreciate the privilege you've granted me to say something. I don't think there is anything new to be said about the need for security. It's a precondition for every other thing that we can possibly do to bail our country out of the current economic and social challenges. But I want to look inward and say, this Senate, when I say this Senate, not the 10th Senate, listening to some of the contributions, we have to agree that we too, as senators, could do better through our military oversight functions. Somebody mentioned that we bought the wrong helicopters to Kano or whatever, and that we were supposed to buy gun attack or whatever. What was the role of the Senate oversight function to ensure that we don't just buy equipment, we buy what is appropriate? If the military chiefs have reasons to do differently, the purpose of our oversight is to refocus procurement to coincide with what we believe is most suitable. But my challenge is, can we claim to know better? We not being military people, not having had the opportunity of being trained, we seem to know what ought to be procured, rather what has been procured. For me, the challenge, therefore, is, like someone said, throwing money at a problem doesn't solve it. And in an earlier motion, prayers are added. So I think earlier in the year, I talked about the need for our committees involved in defense, army, navy, air force, not only to make the case for more spending, but to ensure that when we have appropriated, that monies are used to procure the things we need to enhance the competence of our people. Lastly, we should say nothing in these chambers as if to suggest that the army is not doing something. A lot of young men, a lot of officers and men have paid the supreme price fighting Boko Haram and other security and other criminals in different parts of the country. So even in a moment like this, when we are in pain, we are worried about the seemingly endless nature of this challenge, we mustn't fail to acknowledge, because I do know a number of very promising young men, officers and men that have been wasted, I wouldn't say wasted, who have paid the supreme price so that we can be saved. That they have not put an end to it should not make us to make comment that may be demoralizing. We should acknowledge the price they have paid. We should put them in our prayers, and I want us to challenge our committee on defense, our committee on army and navy to go beyond procurement and do proper oversighting and refocus the procurement policies of the armed forces. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Annie Anthony, Professor of Agricultural Extension, who once was a professor, was a lecturer in University of Maiduguri. We give you the chance to bear your mind for 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. My name is Senator Professor Anthony Ane. I represent Ebonyi South. Mr. President, you said it very well. I was in Maiduguri from 1991 to 2013. And that is why when the issue of security of Boronu, anytime it is raised, I feel so much concerned. Now, so many people who have spoken on this motion, I stand to support this motion on its entirety, the purpose and intent. I support all of them. Now, I want to align myself very closely to what Senator Abamoro said. So much discussions on security in Nigeria, so much talks on security. I think we see less of action. Security agencies have done their best, but their best to me is not enough until we secure entirely the country. You see, where there is any security challenge, there will be no development. So long a time since 2008, the security challenge in Boronu has been growing in dimension. Of course, it's one of the things that led me or that made me to leave Maiduguri. I had to leave Maiduguri because of security challenge. And since that time, it has never abated. And people have been talking about it. Does it mean that the security agencies have no solutions to that? Of course, most of the strategies should not be discussed on this floor. But the security people, the agencies, should know the best approaches they should employ to ensure that this is abated. Doing one thing continuously will lead you to getting the same result over and over again. It is time for them to explore other approaches to see that this thing is curtailed. Now, we have to follow this motion. It shouldn't just end in debate. We should follow it, see to it that what has been put as prayers are actualized. Having said that, I thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. We should give our maximum support to this motion. Thank you.
The last to speak on this debate is Senator Karimi. You have 1 minute, sorry. 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Karimi. I represent the people of Kogi West. Yes. Security of lives, property is the basic responsibility of government. We are all part of government. If we go into some of our communities, we see the locals contributing one way or the other to the security of their environment. I saw as part of this prayer that the government, Nigeria, should establish a military base and a community there. Sometimes we can also lead by example. Like I just discussed with my brother, Senator Ndume. We can come together as the leader of the state to mobilize the legislature in the state to see how we can use part of our national intervention fund to contribute something to the security of our environment. We can secure the lives and properties of our people. That is the best thing we can do for them. Rather than coming and talking, we should lead by example. I also discussed with him to see the Chadian leader that led his people to the front, because he understands that terrain. We can also, as leaders, I told him, lead. He can provide himself as the leader, so that I can lead like Chadian president that knows the terrain of that place, to lead our military on operation there. So it is leading by example. So we don't just blame everything on government. Our military, they are trying. They are overstretched. And we need to do all possible to come to their aid. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We now move to the prayers. Prayer 1. All the Nigerian armed forces establish a super camp at Guzamala local government area and mobilize adequate personnel to secure Abadam and multi-local government areas of Borno State. Those in favor of this prayer, please say aye. Those in favor of this prayer, please say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Mandate the Committee on Army and Air Force to ensure implementation. Those in favor of this prayer, please say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Let me thank the mover of this motion, the Chief Whip of the Senate, and all those who contributed to the debate. This is something that is appropriate and is something that is good to help to restore peace in the aforementioned local governments. Abadam, of course, Guzamala, Abadan, and multi-local governments areas. Of course, as said by some of us, we need to commend our men and women in uniform who are doing their best every day since the beginning of Boko Haram insurgency to secure our areas in Borno and elsewhere, and to also safeguard our people. Some of them have paid the supreme price. Some of them have been injured. Some of them have been incapacitated. They've done us proud. They are doing us proud in protecting the sovereignty of our nation, our territory as a nation. We commend them and we pray for them. But we need to ask them to continue to help us so that we secure these areas, to restore peace in these areas. They've done it before and we know they can do it. And we urge them that more grease should be on their elbows. We don't take what they are doing for us, what they are doing for the nation for granted. We are proud of them, we commend them, and we pray for them. And we also commend Mr. President for all that he has been doing to bring total peace to this country. It's not an easy thing. The problem of insecurity is something that has international dimension. Wars are being fought in all parts of the globe. Ukraine, what is going on there? Gaza, and so many other areas. And the problem of terrorism is all over the world, everywhere. No country is immune to terrorism. It's something that has international dimension. It's not something that's peculiar to this country alone. And we know how much Mr. President is doing, going all over the world to secure collaboration with other nations to deal with this international phenomenon. It's not something that a nation can fight alone. They have an international connection. The terrorists are not from Nigeria. They are from other nations. Some are Arabs, some are black Africans, and so on and so forth. Some could even be from the Middle East. Who knows? So it's something that the leadership of the country is doing to have that international collaboration, sharing of intelligence, and so on and so forth to deal with the situation. We commend Mr. President for what he's doing. And we're very sure with the cooperation that the National Assembly is providing to Mr. President and other security agencies, we'll be able to deal with this matter. So I thank you, the Chief of the Federation, Chief of the Senate. I used to call your predecessor, the former Chief of I used to call him Chief of the Federation. I do call him, you call him like that, Chief Whip Emeritus. So thank you very much for sponsoring this bill. You are known for your resilience, for your determination to help your people. Please continue on what you've been doing to help your people right from the House of Representatives. So it's on this note that I thank everyone, I commend everyone for your contribution to this debate. And please, the leader is going to move for us to adjourn so as to come back later so that we can pass the vote and proceeding in order to make sure that we don't go against the time in respect of the report that was adopted, the report that was submitted by the local and foreign committee in respect of the loan that the country is going to acquire to get. Because once we don't do that today, it will go against the time and we'll put the entire process in jeopardy. So please, I plead to everyone to come back after we've taken our lunch so that we can pass the votes and proceeding. Leader.
Mr. Senate President.
The adjournment for 30 minutes, just 30 minutes is enough. They'll come. 30 minutes, we'll come back 30 minutes after.
Distinguished senators, having concluded the proceeding on other paper, I have moved that the Senate do adjourn for 30 minutes only and reconvene by 2:30 to be able to pass the votes and proceeding today. I so move.
The minority leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I support the motion that the Senate adjourns for 30 minutes to reconvene to pass the votes and proceedings of the day. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion moved by the Senate leader and seconded by the minority leader, please say aye. Those against say nay. The Senate therefore adjourns to resume in the next 30 minutes. That's all.